This conference will now be recorded.
Right, we are discussing visualizations. In the last class, we started a category of visuals called visuals for filtering the data. The first category of visuals we listed is visuals for filtering the data. In this category, visuals for filtering the data, we discussed about one visual called slicer visual. I listed what are the different categories of visuals we have. The first category is visuals for filtering the data. In order to filter the data, which visual we have is a slicer visual. Let me load some tables first. Click on get data, Excel. I'll load some tables and even I'll load some more tables from another Excel file. Fine. Yesterday last class we discussed when we take one visual, I have a sales value here. Initially it is showing all the 4 region sales. I want to filter the sales value. So my client want to filter the sales value by himself. How he can filter the sales value is using a visual called slicer. When I take the slicer, he want to filter the data based on region. When I drag the region, we can we can save the report now, publish the report, and we can share the report with the client. When you share the report with the client can select any region. That region data they can see here. So this is the slicer visual which is used for filtering the data, right? We discussed that in the slicer visual last class. When you want to learn any visual, I said that we need to learn three things. First one is purpose, second one is field wells, third one is formatting options. We already discussed about the purpose of the slicer, in what scenarios we need to use it, and we already discussed about the field wells, and we are discussing about the formatting options. In the formatting options we have two categories: general formatting options and visual formatting options. General formatting options are common for all the visuals. Visual formatting options will change for visual to visual. In the last class we discussed about visual formatting options. Today we'll talk about first few minutes general formatting options. So as I said that general formatting options are common for all the visuals. While discussing the general formatting options, look at this. I'll take one pie chart here. Even in the pie chart, when I go, I want to show category wise sales in the pie chart for now. I'll just go and drag the category here and drag the sales. Sales. Now you have category wise sales. Now currently I'm in the pie chart. I'm going to format. When I go to format, I'm seeing general here. So what are the formatting options we have in the general for the pie chart? Even when I go and select a card visual, see here what are the formatting options you have is what? Properties, title, effects, header icons, tooltip, alternative text, right? The same formatting options, even when I go to card visual, you can find it. Look at this. When I go to card visual, when I go to general, same formatting options you'll find. Or else when I go to slicer, when I go to general, same formatting options. General formatting options are common for all the visuals. Let's discuss this general formatting options. What is the purpose of this general formatting options? Let me give you an idea. First, let me add one more a card visual where I will drag profit. I'll just do some basic formatting here. Go and go and reduce the size to some 25. Add one border. For this visual also add one border. Fine. First, I'll talk about general formatting options. What is this general formatting? In general, what is the first one you have? Properties. When I go to properties, in the properties, we have size, position, something like this, right? So first let's talk about in the general, what is this size? If you observe these two card visuals, they have a different size now. Size means in the general, first thing is properties. Under properties, first thing you have is size. When I go to the size, there is height and width. This is the height of the visual and this is the width of the visual. We are telling height is how much, means this is 119 and width is 219, right? It have a different height and width. This visual have a different height and width. They are not looking better. I want to have a consistent size here, here and here. How can you make it is, let's take the first visual, make the height as 100 and make the width as 180 or one something 180. The same height and width I need to even give for this visual so that it looks better. Again, you need to go to second visual. What what is the height we given here? What is the height we given is 100. What is the width we given? 180. Here also go and give height as 100. Width is how much? 180 or something. Now if you go and check it, this two visuals will have equal size. They will look better now. When compared to previous, they will look better. Right. Like this, let me take another card visual also and let me drag the quantity here. Even this visual is having a different look now, different height and width. I need to make it consistent like this two card visuals. Select the visual where we can go. Format, general, and the properties. Height we can take it as 100. Width we can take it 180 only, right? Width we can take it as 180. Now all these three visuals have the equal size, right? The second point is that is height and width. Below that you have something called what? Below height and width we have something called log aspect ratio. Currently it is off or on? On. Off. So when you need to go on this is, it is not that much important option, but let me tell you what it will do. What is that log aspect ratio is? Currently there is a pie chart here. Let's check what is the width and height for this. Go to the format, go to the general, size. Let's make it consistent or else I'll just remove it for now. I'll just take one pie chart. I'll just go and drag category and sales. Category and sales. When I go to format, when I go to general properties, what is the height and width we have is 280, 280. There are some times where we need to change the size of the visual proportionately. That means when I currently 280, 280, when I increase the width to 20, when I increase width to 20, even height also I need to increase 20. Whenever we need to change the visual size proportionately, what is the best way to change it is select any one of the corner and try to increase the size. I try to increase the size. Will it increasing proportionately here? 294, 312. It is not changing proportionately. Both are having different numbers. There are sometimes we need to change the width and height proportionately. What is the best way to change width and height proportionately? Means again you are not getting 31, 301, 304 you are getting. So if you want to change visual height proportionately, first thing you need to do is go to format. In the general, in the size, first you need to on this setting. When you on the setting and when you go and change the visual size, it will increase the size of the visual proportionately. Now let's me select this corner and let's increase it. So what is the size you got now? 295, 295. So which is increasing proportionately, right? What is the purpose of this log aspect ratio is whenever we need to increase the size of the visual proportionately, either width or either height, on this and select corner and increase it so that it increases proportionately. That is about the size, guys. Once after the size, second one is what? Position. What is the purpose of position is, if you see, when I go to position, what we have, let me show you first. In the position, what we have is horizontal position and vertical position. Horizontal position is 36, vertical position is 11. What is the horizontal position means? This x-axis is horizontal and the y-axis is vertical. Here x-axis 0 is here. Let's say this is 10, 20, 30 and so on. It increase. When you go towards right, it will increase. In the y-axis 0 is on the top, When you come towards down, it will increase. In the horizontal, 0 here. In the vertical, 0 is on top. Here, where you have this, we are telling that this visual is at 36 and this is 11. Tell me, when you take this visual towards right, horizontal will increase or decrease? When I take this visual towards right, this horizontal number will increase or decrease? Increase. When I take this visual towards down, vertical number will increase or decrease? Increase. So when I take towards right, horizontal number got increased. When I bring this visual towards bottom, vertical number is increasing. So that means this is 0. When you come towards down, it increase. This is 0. When you go towards right, it will increase. Now what I need is, these three visuals are not starting exactly in the same place. This is starting one where all are three is starting in different places. I want to start every visual in the same, so that it will give better look. How can you do that is, select the first visual, make it horizontal to 10, and go and give the same 10 for other visuals also. 10 horizontal. Here also you need to give what? 10. Now are they starting in the same place? All the three visuals, no doubt they are starting in the same place now, right? So you don't need to go and give 10 separately. Select all the three visuals. Look at this, I'm selecting all the three visuals at once. Once after selecting the three visuals, go to the format, general, go to the properties, and this time which property? Position. What is the position we are planning to give for the three visuals? At once they got aligned to the horizontal, guys, right? Vertical, what is the purpose of vertical is, let's say I want to align these two visuals exactly here. What is the best way to align the two visuals is, select the visual, go to the format, general, here, vertical position, let's make it 10 again. Now even for this visual also, vertical I need to give what? 10. Now tell me, these two visuals are aligning on the top exactly in the same place? Yes or no? Yes, these two visuals are aligning in the top exactly. There are some times where we need to align the visuals horizontally or vertically in the same place. Then you can go and use which options? Position. And once after that, there is something called padding here. So might be the extra space what we have here, we might increase it. Let's see. I'm planning to increase some more space in the bottom. It got added recently. What it is adding? When I go and increase this, where it is adding more space? In the bottom side. Now here you have less space. Here you have more space. If you want even more space in the bottom, I can make it 30. So 30 is too big. It is not allowing here. You can make it a more space here. So maximum it is allowing to add padding here is 20. So this space, extra space, if you want to add, we can add in the padding. So let's make it to 5. When I go and reduce it to 5 again, the space got reduced. So advanced options, there is two options called responsive and maintain layer order. We'll discuss in the coming classes. This is too early to explain them. Right? That is in the general properties. If you go and click on below these four options, there is something called reset to default. When I go and click on reset to default, whatever the formatting I have done here for this visual under here, all that formatting will reset to the original formatting options. All these settings will reset to default. There will be some default settings, it will reset. The next one you have is, once after the properties, next one we have is what? Title. This one we call it as title. In order to format this title, you can go and format in this area. So I want to bring the title to the center. I want to change the color of the title. I want to change the title name. Let's say I don't like this name. Currently, what is the name of this visual is? Title for this visual is sum of sales by category. Instead of this title, I need to change the name to category wise sales. Where can we change the title name? Go to the title and there is something called text. You can go and write it. Category wise sales. Whatever you are going to write here, that it will show here. If you want a different size, you can go and change it. If you want a bigger, or if you want a normal size, you can go and just change it. So when you go and change it, it will increase. Here you can change the font family. And if you want, we can bold it or we can align it to the center. they are simple options formatting this text. You just go and change it. What changes you are getting, you can observe. And I want the text with a different color. You can take a different color for your text. And I want some background to the text. You can add some background over there. I want to have the title to the center. We can get the title to the center here. Text to wrap is there. Text to wrap is on. When text to wrap is on, it will write the, when you have a bigger title, it will write in multiple lines. So for some reasons, your title is too big like this. It will write in multiple lines. I don't want to write the title in the multiple lines. If the text is big, show how much text we can show. Remaining show with dots. If you want the text in only one line, you need to go to text to wrap off this. When you off this, now you are not getting the title in the two lines. So how much title it can show? It can show it. Remaining it will show like what? Dots. That means there is some more title there. Right, that is text wrap. If you want the text in multiple lines, we can go and have it here. That is title. In the title you have title. Again, so this formatting options are new formatting options, guys. One more they added. What is that? Subtitle. Let's add it, and you can write some more things here below the title. So you are writing category wise sales. Below that, if you want to write something else, you can write it. If you want to modify this name, again you can format it. You can add it. So title and subtitle and divider. So between title and subtitle, if you want to below that, if you want to add a divider, if you want to select some color for that, you can add it. If you want some line like this, if you want, you can add it. Once after the divider, there is something called spacing. Might be between these two, how much space you want. You can customize spacing on this. And when I go and add space below title, space below subtitle, if you want to increase the space here, space below title. If you want to increase the space here, space below subtitle. If you want some more space there, 10, and even make it 10 here. Right, this is all about this title. This complete one comes under title. Under that you have title, under that you have subtitle, under that you have divider line, one divider line, and spacing. Previously we don't have all these options. We have only one option called title. This subtitle, this divider, this spacing, we don't have it. They recently added it. So we understand title related formatting options. Once after the title, next one you have is what? Effects. In the effects we have three things. Go to general effects. First one is background. This is the visual background. Currently background is on. And what is the background color you have for the visual? What is the background color you have? White background. If you want to change that white background to different background color, I want a light gray background color for my visual. If you want to add the visual background, in the effects we can add it. So 0% means whatever the color you taken here, that same color it will show. When you take it towards 100, whatever the color you taken here, light color it will show. When I take it to towards 100, whatever the color I taken, that light color it will show. Right, transparency of the color. Next one is visual border. If you want to add any, currently there is no border for this visual. If you want to add one border, go to the format. Where we can add the border is in the effects. Only one time I'll discuss this formatting options. They will be boring, but understand what they will do. For every visual, same formatting options you will have. Will not discuss. If you want whatever color you want, you can give it. This border, if you want to add, we can add it. Right. Background, visual border. Next one is shadow. What is the shadow is? Let's say I have a visual. I want, I have category wise sales here. Drag the category and drag the sales. Go to format, general. There is something called shadow. When I add the shadow, there is an option where we can add the shadow. To this visual, I added a shadow outside the visual. If you want to add this kind of shadow in the visual, we can add it. Where we are adding the shadow here now is in the effects, shadow. Outside I'm adding. This is the visual border. Outside the visual border, we are adding it. And where we are adding the shadow is bottom right. We are adding the shadow in the bottom side as well as right side. We don't have in the left side, we don't have in the top side. If you want to change that shadow to other sides, there is options here. So you can bring the shadow to inside. Inside also where you are showing now is bottom right, or outside. If you want top side shadow and left side, in the position you can go and choose it. Top left, top right. So when I select top right or else top left, we need to select top left. When I select top left, you are getting the shadow on the top side and the left hand side, right? So like this, in the effects, we have three things: background, visual border, shadow, which will give the better look, guys, when you add some shadow. Next one is header icons. Once after the effects, header icons. So whatever you see on the top, we call this as header icons. This one. So here, there are some times where we need to hide some header icons to the client. Let's say there is a filter icon. In the coming class, you will understand. There is a filter icon. I don't want to show it to the client. How can you stop this filter icon to your client is, in order to stop it, we need to go to where? Header icon. When we go to header icon, there is options. In the header icon, we have two parts. One is colors, second one is what? Icons. Colors is, I can change the background color. Just change it here and see where you are getting the changes. You are getting this background changes, background. And you can even add one border, dark black. I'm adding one border here for this icons. And icon colors, if you want, you can change it. A blue color or whatever color you want for icons, you can change that icon colors. Fine. So transparency means darkness. Whatever the colors you selected, if you want light colors, take towards 100. If you want dark colors, make it towards 0. Once after the colors, you have icons here. In the icons, by default, all the icons it will show. Whatever icons you don't want to show to your client, go and off this. This icon, we call it as filter icon. This icon, we call it as, which icon is filter icon. If you don't want to show this filter icon to your client, when you have this filter icon, client can see what filters we applied on this visual. Currently, have you applied any filters on this visual? No. If I go and apply a filter on region column, I'm dragging the region, I'm selecting central region. When I go on over here, client can understand we are showing what region data here? Central. I don't want to show to my client what filters I applied here. By default, filter icon client will see. When client hover on filter icon, he can understand what filters we applied. Let's say if you don't want to show this, where you can stop this is general, in where? Header icons, in the icons. When I go to icons, there is one icon with the name called what? Filter. Currently it is on. You can stop this. When I stop this here, still I am able to see this icon. Why? When I stop this filter icon, I stopped it, but still it is showing. What might be the reason? Developer can see it. Who can see it? Developer can see it. Who will not see this icon now is save this report, publish the report, share the report with whom? Client. Then open the report from the client side. They don't see what? Filter icon. Whenever you stop it here, clients will not see that. Right. That is icons. Once after the icons, next one is what? Tooltip. When I go on over here, you will see one black box here. What is the name for this black box is what we call it as tooltips. Tooltips. If you want to change the text here, we call this as label, we call this as value. We call this as label, we call this as value. If you want to format the labels, values, where we can format it is tooltips. For now, there are two types of tooltips. One is default tooltip. When I go to tooltip, you will have type. There are two types of tooltip. One is what? Default. Second one is what? Report page. The one which we are seeing currently is what type of tooltip is? This is a default tooltip. This is what? Default. There is another type of tooltip called what? Report page. In the later classes, in the Power View classes, I'll talk about report page tooltip. For now, the default tooltip, we'll talk about it. In this default tooltip, in the default tooltip, when I go to default, you can format it. If you want to increase the text size, or if you want to change the font family there, want to change the label colors, want to change the value colors, like this, if you make the change there, it is changing here, the labels and values color. And even currently background for this tooltip is black color. If you want a different background color, we can go and change a different background color. Instead of black, if you want a different background color, you can change it. Transparency, again, darkness of the color. So this is about the tooltip formatting. And one more time, in the coming classes, currently we see only default tooltip. Report page tooltip is important. In the coming classes, we'll discuss it. Once after the tooltip, the last one you have is alternative text. In the alternative text, we can write some description about the visual, why we are building this visual. For our reference purpose, if you want to write some description, why you are building this, what you are showing here, so you can write some description here. Generally, we don't write any descriptions, just ignore it. These are the general formatting options you have. Fine. If you go to any visual, the same formatting options here. So far, we are done with slicer visual. In the slicer visual, we understand purpose, field wells, and formatting options. The next category of visuals. In this category, we have only one visual, that is slicer visual. Almost in one project, if you develop 10 reports, 10 out of 10 reports, we will use this slicer visual. In every report, we will use the slicer visual. Once after this category, under this category, you have only one visual. What is the second category of visuals you have? Visuals for visualizing categorical data. Under this category, we have a lot of visuals. Let's see. Around 10 visuals we have under this category. Most of the data what we have is categorical data. What is the categorical data is? First, let's understand what is categorical data. You have ship modes. Ship modes are categorized under how many categories? I have a column called ship mode. Ship mode is a categorical column. How many different ship modes are there? First class, same day, second class, standard class. Ship mode column is categorized under how many categories? 4 categories. It's a categorical column. These are categorical values. This categorical column contains how many categorical values? 4. In the same way, most of the columns what we have, we comes under categorical column. Category column is there. Category column also comes under categorical column. This 3 we call it as categorical values. Furniture is one category, office supplies is one category, technology is one category. In the same way, subcategory also comes under categorical column. Subcategory is a categorical column. Each one is a categorical value. Accessories is one categorical value. Appliances is one categorical. Most of the data we have in the report or we have in the tables is categorical data only. That is the reason in order to show categorical data, we have a lot of visuals. Around 10 visuals we have. Let's discuss one by one visual. Examples for categorical data is, I said that what columns? Ship mode column, and then category column, and then subcategory column, etc. All this comes under categorical columns. Whenever we need to show categorical data, what are the visuals we have? The first visual we are going to discuss in this category is, there is a visual with the name called pie chart. We'll discuss. Important to understand other visuals easily. If you can understand pie chart visual almost 30 minutes time I will explain. If you understand pie chart, you can understand how much time I will discuss about pie chart itself? 30 minutes. If you understand pie chart, understanding any other visual is just 2 minutes. Hardly it will take 2 minutes of time. Let's concentrate here and try to understand pie chart visual. So I said that in order to learn any visual, you need to learn 3 things. What are the 3 things you need to learn? In order to learn any visual, what are the 3 things you need to learn? Purpose, field wells, and formatting options. Purpose, when to use it, how many field wells we have, where to place dimension columns and fact columns, and what are the formatting options we have, when to change which formatting option. Right, first, purpose. What is the purpose of the pie chart is? Pie chart is used to show categorical data when we have less categorical values. less categorical values. Less categorical values means around 5. Around 5 categorical values when you have, then only you need to show the data in pie chart. Now when I take a subcategory column, it's a categorical column. How many categorical values you have here? 17. When I have 17 categorical values, can I go and show this in the pie chart means? No. Category column is there. How many categorical values you have? 3. Can I show it in the pie chart? Yes, around 5 means okay. Pie chart. We can show in the pie chart. 3 categorical values, you can show it. When you have less number of categorical values, around 5 means 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So you can go and show it in pie chart. We understand the purpose, guys. Now, second thing we need to understand about the pie chart is, I'm taking the pie chart. Once after the purpose, we need to understand about what? Field wells. How many field wells it contains is legend, values, details, and lastly what? Tooltips. So as part of field wells, what you need to understand? Where to place dimension columns and fact columns. Let's take an example. To explain this field wells, when you understand the pie chart field wells, understanding any other visual field wells will hardly take 1-2 minutes of time. Fine. So to understand the field wells, I'll write like this. Client is asking to show, create a visual to show category wise sales. Create a or show category wise sales in the pie chart. How to show category wise sales. Now I'm planning to show category wise sales in the pie chart. Tell me, category is dimension column or fact column? Dimension column. Sales is fact column. Now in the pie chart, one dimension column I need to show, one fact column I need to show. Where to show dimension column and where to show fact column is, understand, first dimension column mostly into the first field well. What is the first field well in the pie chart? Legend. First dimension column mostly in any visual we will drag it to the first field well. Mostly. That means category we need to drag it to where? Legend. Almost all the visuals will have a field well with the name called values. Values is the place where we will drag first fact column. Values is the place where we will drag what? First fact column. That means first dimension column we need to drag it to the legend in the pie chart. First fact column we need to drag it to the values in the okay. So I said in the introduction classes, I'm removing these two columns again. When you don't know where to drag the category, where to drag the sales, what is the second alternative? Drag the category on column on top of visual, drag the sales column on top of visual. Go and drag the category on top of visual. Go and drag the sales on top of visual. Category got added to where? Legend. Sales got added to where? Values. So when you drag it on top of visual, when the dimension column is going to the right place, when the fact column is going to the right place, then why we need to spend time and why we need to learn about this field wells, where to drag dimension columns and fact columns, why we need to spend it? So all the times it will not take to the right field wells, guys. When you go and drag the columns on top of visual, I said that only 90% of time it will take to where? Right field wells. Sometimes the columns will be go and sit in the wrong field wells also. Let me give you an example here. I have an employee table here. Look at this. There is a employee table. One employee table. Take this employee table. In the employee table, I have department number column and salary column. My requirement is in the pie chart, I need to show department wise salaries. In the pie chart, I need to show what? Department wise salaries. Department number is what column? Dimension column or fact column? Dimension column. Department number is dimension column. Salary is what column? Fact column. In the pie chart, where to drag department number column? Legend. I said that first dimension column to the first field well called legend. Where to drag salary column? First fact column to the values. So I need to drag department number to the legend. I need to drag salary to the value. And you can see each department number, what is the salary? 20th department 11K, 50th department 10K, 30th department 9K. You are able to show it. So if you don't know where to drag dimension columns and fact columns, I said that what is the second alternative? Drag the department number column on top of visual. Drag the salary column on top of visual. Is it showing department wise salaries? Now both department number and salary is added to where? Values. Is it the right place? No. So if you don't know about the field wells, I don't know where to drag dimension columns. I don't know where to drag fact columns. Even you cannot identify what is the problem here. Why it is showing I just drag department number column and salary column. If you don't know about the concept called field wells, you cannot even go and correct this visual. You cannot identify what is the reason it is showing the data like this. Why it is not showing department wise salaries. You cannot understand. So that is the reason we need to learn the field wells here, guys. Now, as we know the concept of field wells, I can understand that the visual is showing data wrongly. Might be the column got added to the wrong field well. Now, actually, department number column is not supposed to be there in the values. It is supposed to be there in where? Legend. You need to select this column and drag it to where? Legend. When I drag it to legend, is it showing correctly now? Yes, it is showing correctly. That is the reason we need to spend some time and need to understand the field wells. When you go and drag it on top of visual, 90% of time it will show correctly. Sometimes it will take to the wrong field wells. Better you need to have an idea about the field wells. Okay. So we understand how to show one dimension column and one fact column in the pie chart. Next one is show category wise sales and profit. In the same pie chart, this time I need to show category wise sales and profit. Category is what type of column? Dimension sales is fact, profit is fact. This time one dimension column and how many fact columns? Two. So in the pie chart, how to show one dimension column and two fact columns, we'll see. All possible combinations I'll discuss first. I'm taking the pie chart. First dimension column, where we need to drag it? Legend. First fact column, where we need to drag it? Values. I want to show one more fact column, profit. Where to drag that? See, with one dimension column and one fact column, there is no need of this legend. We can go and comfortably stop this. How can you stop when you how can you stop this whenever we need to make any change to the visual? We need to go to where? Format. In the format, I stop the legend. When I stop the legend, the problem is here. I cannot understand the sales value is coming from where. When I have the legend, what is the sales value belongs to? Technology. Using legend, I can tell it. When I stop the legend, I cannot tell that the sales value is coming from where. So when you stop the legend, you need to change the label style. In order to change the label style, where we need to go? Detail label. When I go to the detail label, in the label content, we need to select category comma data value. Category means dimension value, data value means sales value. So now they can understand technology, the sales value. When you have only one dimension column and one fact column, better you stop the legend. It will save the space. When you have the legend here, that legend itself is occupying some 30% of space in the visual. If you stop the legend also, we are able to manage, not this data level, stop the legend. When you even stop the legend also, you can manage it, what data I am showing here. Better you stop it. There are some cases. Now, I want to show one dimension column and two fact columns. First dimension column to the legend, first fact column to the values, even second fact column also, you can drag it to where? Values. That means a values field well can allow how many fact columns here? Many fact columns are multiple fact columns. Currently, how many fact columns I drag it to values? So we are trying to understand into each field well whether it will allow dimension columns or whether it will allow fact columns. We are trying to understand. Another important point is mostly into one field well, either we will drag a dimension column, either we will drag a fact column. And again, you need to understand whether it will allow only one dimension column or multiple dimension column, or only one fact column or multiple fact columns. That is what we are trying to understand. We are trying to understand about the values. Values can allow one or multiple fact columns. It will allow what? Multiple fact columns or many fact columns. Now, when you have one dimension column and two fact columns, the way you need to format is different. This time you cannot go and stop the legend. See, this time even when I go to detail label, even when I go and select category comma data value, now you can understand what it is showing in the label: sales value and profit value. So by default, it is showing some value here. Two values it is showing for technology. Technology is what color? Or this is showing how many values for orange color? Two values. Which one is sales and which one is profit here? We cannot. It is not showing which one is sales and which one is profit. How to show this is sales value and this is profit value is, you need to go to where? Label content. In the label content, you need to select what? Category comma data value. When I show category comma data value, it is telling that it's a sales value, it's a profit value. For which category it is sales and profit value? Technology. When I go and stop the legend this time, are you able to understand this visual means? No, it is not possible. I cannot understand this dark blue color is which category. Anywhere it is showing category name here. It is showing profit, what is the value, sales, what is the value. Nowhere it is showing category. So this time you cannot manage to show it using the label contents. When I go and choose any combination here, any combination when I choose it, it's not showing. Is it showing category name with any combination here is, it will not show. Then what is must and should, here you need to have the legend. But when you have the legend in the right hand side, it is occupying the space. I can manage to show that legend in where? Top. How can you change the legend to the top is, go to the legend formatting. There is something called what here? Position. In the position I can choose what now? Top center. Now when I keep the legend in the top center, it saves the space. Now I can easily understand dark blue is office supplies, sales value is this. Office supplies, profit value is this. Now you are showing what? Category wise, sales as well as what? Profit. What we try to understand here is uh, two fact columns, how we can show in the pie chart. We can show the two fact columns in where? Values. The third visual I need to show third information in the pie chart is show category wise sales, profit and quantity. This time one dimension column and how many fact columns this time? I'm trying to explain all possible combinations, how they will work with the field wells. First dimension column to where? Legend. First fact column to where? Values. Second fact column? Values. Even third fact column also into the values. Third fact column also you can drag into the value. Just to make you understand, this values can allow what? Multiple fact columns. Multiple fact columns. I build it. Again, you need to go and start formatting this. In this visual, what necessary formatting you need to do is, now you will be having three values here. Which value is which one? I cannot understand. So here for technology, it is showing three values. Which one is sales? Which one is profit? Which one is quantity? I'm not able to understand. How can you show that? Go to format, detail labels. What we can select here? Category comma data value. Now it can show which one. And this legend, don't want to show it in the right hand side. I need to show in the top side. Go to legend. We can change it to top center. Now we can clearly understand technology sales value, technology profit value, technology quantity value, right? So based on the number of dimension columns and fact columns you have, the way we do the formatting also will change. End goal is, when you build one visual, client want to understand clearly what information you are showing in the visual. In such a way we need to do the formatting. You'll understand. For now we understand how to build this. Now I want to create a visual to show category wise region wise sales. Category comma region wise sales. In the pie chart this time I need to show category, region, sales. Category is what type of column? Region is what type of column? Dimension. Sales is what column? Fact. This time two dimension columns and what? One fact column. How to show two dimension columns and one fact columns in the pie chart is, take a pie chart. First dimension column to where? Legend. First fact column to where? Values. Now my requirement is, I not only want to show category wise sales, I want to show what? Category wise, region wise sales. That means technology currently it is showing 836K. I need to split this technology sales value for what? Each region. Each region, central region, how much? East region, how much? West region, how much? And south region, how much? I want to split one sales value into four sales values. I want to drag the region. Now understand here, I want to drag the region. When I go and drag the region to the legend, when you drag multiple dimension columns into the same field well, it will create what visual means. What is this visual? When you see this button, this visual name is what? Drill down visual. It will create what? See, the one way to create a drill down visual is, I said that you need to create a hierarchy. Without creating a hierarchy also, you can create a drill down visual. I'm taking a column chart. If I go and drag category to the x-axis, sales to the y-axis, till now it's a normal visual. Why it's a normal visual is in the x-axis you have only one field well. Now if you go and drag subcategory and product name, and it created which visual now means drill down visual. See, when you would go and drag multiple dimension columns into the same field well, with that multiple dimension columns, Power BI will create what? Hierarchy. With that hierarchy, it will create what? Drill down visual. One way, instead of going and dragging three columns, first go and create a hierarchy with the three columns, drag that hierarchy. Every time drag that hierarchy. Or else you go and drag three columns. Both will work in the same way. Whether you create a hierarchy or whether you drag multiple dimension columns here, internally with this dimension columns, Power BI will create the hierarchy. With that hierarchy, it will create what? Drill down visual. If you think that going and dragging three columns is taking time, first with this three columns create what? Hierarchy, drag that hierarchy here. Both are same. Now tell me, into the legend, no doubt it will allow multiple dimension columns. It will allow. Legend, I said that we need to drag the dimension column, it will allow. Is it recommended to drag category and region here? When I drag category and region, with category and region, it will create a hierarchy. Is it recommended to create a hierarchy with category and region? Yes or no? Yes or no? If it is no, why? We need to create a hierarchy with what? Related dimension columns. This time, it's not recommended. Category and region is not related dimension columns. It's not recommended to see when you drag the region, it will not stop you. But it is not recommended to drag category and region. Is it recommended to drag category, subcategory, product name into the same field well means? Yes. Why? They are related dimension columns. Better to create a hierarchy with them. Better to create what? Drill down visual. When they are not related dimension columns, you are not supposed to drag both of them here. So the region is not the right place. Legend is not the right place for what? Region. Instead of region, can I drag subcategory here? Is it the right place? Yes. Category and subcategory are related dimension columns. Let it create a hierarchy. Let it create a drill down visual. It's the right place. That means into the legend, we can drag multiple dimension columns. What type of dimension columns we need to drag means? Related. We need to drag what? Related. So this time, I'm not talking about related dimension column. I'm talking about two different dimension columns. Then where to drag the region? So we understand it is not recommended to drag region to where? Legend. Then where we need to place the region? Where we need to place the region is second dimension column. We need to drag it to the details case. Where? Details. Second dimension column. We need to drag it to the details. When I drag the region to the details, when I drag the region to the details here, just observe. It is showing category wise, region wise sales. So it is showing four sales values for what? Technology. But I cannot understand which region sales value is what. How can you show region names here? You need to go to format. Where? Detail labels, label content. What you need to choose here? Category, comma, data. Now you can clearly understand technology, central sales, east sales, south sales, and west sales. So, and better you can move this legend to where? Top. Right. This is how you can show two dimension column. First dimension column to the legend, next, next dimension column to the details, and a fact column to where? Values. The next visual I need to create is show category wise, region wise sales and profit. This time category wise, region wise sales and profit. In the pie chart, profit. How many dimension columns you need to show this time? Two dimension columns. How many fact columns? Two fact. Let's quickly tell me where to drag the two dimension columns and fact columns. I'm taking one pie chart. First dimension column I need to show is category. Where? Legend. First fact column I need to show is sales. Where? Values. Second dimension column I need to show is region. Where we need to drag it? Details. Now tell me, I want to show one more fact column called profit. Where to drag the profit? Where to drag the
Value.
profit?
Value.
When I go and drag the profit to the values, just observe what happens. What happens? In the values, what happens now? It replaces sales with what? Profit. When I drag the sales, it replaces profit with what? Sales. That means the values is allowing how many fact columns now?
One.
Only one. Why? Previously, when I go and take the pie chart, when I drag the category to the legend, when I drag the sales to the value, when I drag the profit, it got allowed or not? It is allowing both
Yes.
sales and profit here. Now,
Yes.
when I go to the page 11, when I go and try to drag sales here, what is doing? Replacing. What might be the reason between this visual and this visual? Huh?
Details section is occupied.
Ah,
We have a dimension
details.
column.
What is the difference means? In this there is no field dimension column into in where details. In the page 11 there is a dimension column in where details. That means what? When there is a dimension column in the details, values can allow how many fact columns? Only one. When there is no dimension column in the details, values can allow what? Many fact columns. You need to understand one point here. There will be dependencies between field wells also. There will be dependencies. It is not that always values can allow many fact columns. When values can allow many fact columns? When there is
Clear
no dimension
details.
column in the details. When there is a dimension column in the details, values can allow how many fact columns?
Many.
Only one. Okay. That we understand. Now where we need to drag the profit? You are able to manage to show category in the legend, region in the details, sales in the values. Now you can format it. I will just go and format like this. Detail labels, category comma data value. And another formatting I'll do is I'll take the legend to the top. I'm able to manage to show category wise, region wise sales. Category technology, region central, their sales value. Two dimension columns and one fact column I'm able to show. I need to show one more fact column in the pie chart. Where to show it? Where to show it is when I try to drag the profit here, it is not allowing. That it is allowing only one. Where to show the profit is you need to drag the profit to a field well with the name called what? Tooltip. Tooltip, what type of columns will drag means? Fact columns. Into the tooltip also will drag fact columns. Right, I want to drag profit. When I drag the profit to the tooltip, am I seeing anywhere profit value here? I'm seeing technology, central region, sales value. When I drag the profit to the tooltip, I'm not seeing it. One point I need to tell you is when you drag something to the legend, the visual will change. When you drag something to the values, the visual will change. When you drag something to the details, the visual will change. But when you drag anything to the tooltip here, the visual will not change. So let me remove category from the legend. When I remove the category, the visual got changed now. Now it is showing only 4 sales values. When I go and drag the category here, the visual is getting changed. When I remove the sales, without fact column in the visual, now currently in this visual, I have only dimension columns. What dimension columns you have? Category and region. With only dimension columns in the visual, can we see the data means no. Along with the dimension columns, must and should you need to have what column? Fact column. Then only you can see the data here. When I go and drag the sales here, the visual is changing. When I remove the details here, the visual is changing. When I drag the region to the details, the visual look is changing here. But what we noticed is when you drag something to the tooltip, we are telling that second fact column, we need to drag it to the tooltip. But when I drag the tooltip profit, nowhere I am seeing that profit value. Where we can see that profit value now? When you hover on data point, there you can see it. I said that tooltip is nothing but what? When you hover on one data point, you'll get one black box, right? What is the name for this box? Tooltip box. Now, when you don't have profit here in the tooltip, how many things it is showing? Category, region, sales. Along with category, region, and sales, what we are planning to see now? Profit. Where we are dragging that profit? Tooltip. When you drag it to the tooltip, when I hover here, what it is showing now in the tooltip? Profit. Right. Remember, When you drag something to the tooltip, only place where you can see that is in the tooltip box, right? So the last preference you need to give it to where? Tooltip. If you are able to drag that to values, it is not recommended to go and drag it to tooltip. When you are not having any option to drag the fact columns, then you need to drag it to where? Tooltip. Now tell me, I want to create a visual to show category wise, region wise sales profit and quantity. Sales profit and quantity. This time, first two dimension columns and how many fact columns? Three fact columns. So you just tell me the possible places where we need to drag. I'm removing all this one more time. I want to show two dimension columns this time and what? Three fact columns. First dimension column where? Legend. First fact column to where? Values. Of second dimension column to where? Details. Second fact column to where? Second fact column is profit. Tooltip. Where is the third fact column now? Again tooltip. Third fact column also into where? Tooltip. So now when I go to tooltip, it is showing till profit. When you go and drag quantity also into the tooltip, it will add one more line. When I go and drag quantity here, now when I go and hover, it is showing what? Category technology, region central, sales value, profit value, and quantity value, right? Like this tooltip, what type of columns will drag? Fact columns. How many fact columns? Many fact columns. Let's say
Many.
the next scenario I want is create a visual to show category wise, region wise, ship mode wise sales. Category wise, region wise, ship mode wise sales. How many dimension columns this time I need to show?
Three.
Three. How many fact columns?
One.
One. Tell me how to show it. I'm taking the pie chart. First dimension column category, first fact column sales. We are able to manage it. Next one, next dimension column I need to show is region. Where we drag region? Details. Now one more dimension column. Where to drag one more dimension column now? Ship mode. I want to show ship mode also. Where? Is it in the legend? Is it recommended to drag ship mode to the legend? Yes or no? Is it recommended to drag ship mode to the legend?
No.
Yes or no? Will it allow first? Will it
Yellow.
allow? It will allow. But is it recommended?
No.
It will allow. When I try to drag ship mode here, it will allow and it will create a drill down visual. It is recommended means no. Why?
No
They are
relation.
not related dimension columns. Then where? Is it recommended to drag ship mode to values? No. Values are meant for which type of
Fact.
columns? Fact columns. Is it recommended to drag it to details? Details are for dimension columns. But important point you need to notice is when I go and drag ship mode here, what happens? It replaces region with what? Ship mode. That means it will allow how many dimension columns means? Details will allow only
One.
one dimension column. It will not allow what? Multiple dimension column. Where to drag now? Can I go and drag it tooltip? No. I said that into one field well, either you can drag a dimension column or fact column. Already tooltip I said we will drag what type of columns? Fact columns.
Fact.
Ship mode is what column? Dimension.
Dimension.
Now you need to understand there will be limitations in the visuals, guys. In the pie chart, we can drag only two dimension columns. It is not possible to go and drag three dimension columns. These three are not related. If there is any related dimension column, I can go and drag it to where? Into the legend. So in place of ship mode, if I have subcategory, I can manage it. I can manage it. In place of ship mode, if you have subcategory, where you can drag that subcategory? Into the legend.
Legend.
We can drag it. But when the three dimension columns are not related with each other, it is not possible to show this information in the pie chart. It's not possible. Show information in where? This information it is not possible to show in the pie chart. Fine. Then what you need to do to show this information? We need to go and choose what? Other visual. We need to go and choose what? Other visual. In the pie chart, it is not possible. The same information you can go and show it in some other visual here. You will understand in the coming classes. how which visual we'll go and choose, you'll understand. Fine. For now, we understand how the pie chart field wells will work. Now you tell me, I'll ask a question here. I'm taking the pie chart. Tell me, we understand about last half an hour about the field wells itself. Into the legend, whether we will drag dimension columns or fact columns. Dimension
Dimension column.
columns. One or many. It will allow one or
One.
many. It
Many.
will allow many. It will allow many.
Many.
But it will allow how many dimensions columns you drag, it will allow. But you always need to drag what type of dimensional columns here means related, right?
Related.
related.
Into the values. What type of columns?
Fact
Fact. One
columns.
or many.
Fact column.
Many.
It will
One.
generally allow many. Make a note. In the details, you don't need to have when there is no dimension column in the details, values can allow what? Many fact
Many.
columns. When there is a values in the details, values can allow only one fact
One.
column. You need to keep in that mind that point. Details, what type of column will drag?
Fact.
Dimension. How many dimension columns here? Only
One.
one. Only one. It
One.
all the scenarios, it will allow only one dimension column here. Tooltip. What type of columns? Fact. One or
Fact.
Fact
many?
column.
Many.
One or
Many.
many? Many fact
Many.
columns, right? So same. All other visuals also behave in the same way. Let me quickly write it. Into the legend, we'll drag what type of columns means?
Dimension.
Many related dimension columns. Next one is what? Values.
Values.
What?
Fact.
Many fact columns we can drag it. When there is no dimension column in the details. Next field value is what?
Details.
Details. The third field value you have is what? Details. What?
Fact.
Only
One
one
dimension.
dimension column. Next one is what?
Two.
Tooltips. What?
Many fact
Many
columns.
fact columns. Many fact columns. I can write here many fact columns when
Plus
there is
related.
no dimension column in
Details.
details. Yes or no? In the values, it can allow many fact columns. In what scenario? When there is no dimension column in where? Details. This is
Details.
how the pie chart field wells will behave, guys. So far, we understand purpose and field wells. In the pie chart, we understand purpose and field wells. Next one is what? Formatting options. I already said that general format, I'm dragging category and sales. General formatting options are common for all the visuals. When I take the pie chart, we already discussed about what formatting options? General. Next, we need to discuss about what? Visual. When I go to visual formatting options, first visual formatting option we have is what? Legend. To format this, whether you want to move it to the top side, whether you want to change the title, whether you want to change the colors, whether you want to change the text size, all that you can format in the legend. You just go and explore the options what you have. They are simple. Next one is what? Slices. Sometimes, so for now, I will stop this legend. It is not necessary. So next one is slices, guys. What is the slices is? I don't like the in the detail label. Let me select category common data value. So in the slices, I don't like the color of office supplies. I'm planning to change this color. I'm planning to have a yellow color here. Where you can have that yellow color is you need to go to where? Slices. In the slices, you have what? Colors. Which one you don't like the color? Office supplies. You can go and choose some color here. What color you want? Right? Office supplies. So next one is detail labels. If you want to format this area, we can format in this area. So my requirement is currently I'm seeing the sales values in thousands. I want to convert this to millions. Where you can convert this sales value to millions means detail labels. This is a label. Whenever we need to format this label, you need to go to detail label. Go to the detail label, values. In the values, there is something display units. In the display units, you need to select what here? Millions. So try to explore detail labels options also here. So now currently I'm showing the label outside. I want to bring this label to inside here. There is some space inside, right? I need to show this label inside. How can we show the label inside is go to the detail labels, position. Position is where now? Outside. Now I'm bringing to where? Inside. Like this, if you want to format this labels, we can format that labels in where? Detail. Next one is I can bring it to outside. Rotation. What is that? Rotation. So out of these three categories, which category is doing more sales? Out of three categories, which category is doing more sales? Technology. Second highest sales? Furniture. Least sales? Office supplies. Technology is starting at 0, and once after technology it will show office supplies, furniture. Once after furniture it will show office supplies. Tech, which one is doing highest sales? It is starting at 0. There are some times where we need to start, we don't want to start it at 0. Let's say I want to start the visual at 90 here, or I want to start this highest sales value at 180. Where you can change that is where? Generally we don't change it for some reasons. If you want to start the highest sales value somewhere here, where we can change it is in the rotation. Currently you have what? 0. Instead of 0, I can go and show it here what? Now technology values are starting at where? Once after technology it is showing furniture and then office supplies. If you want to change the starting point of the visual, where we can change it is here in the rotation. And general formatting options, we don't want to discuss about it. And when I go to these three dots, when I click on reset all settings, see every formatting below that you will have what? Reset to default. When you click on this reset to default, it will reset only what? Legend. So you did legend formatting, slices formatting, detail label formatting, rotation formatting. I want to reset all of them at once. Even general also I format something. I want to reset all the visual and general settings to what? Default. Where you can reset it is, go to these three dots, click on what? Reset all settings to default. That means legend settings, slices settings, detail labels, everything. Expand all categories, collapse all categories. Now, instead of going and expanding and seeing each formatting options, at once we can expand everything. When I expand all categories, legend got expanded, slices got expanded, details labels got expanded. You can go and change it. I want to collapse all of them at once. Go to the three dots, click on what? Collapse all the categories. So next, more options means it will take to some settings, nothing there. So we'll go with default settings only. We understand field section, field wells. We understand format section, visual formatting and general formatting. What is the name for this? Analytics section. When I go to analytics section, it is telling that analytics features are not available for this visual. Analytics features are available for only few visuals like column charts, line charts. When I talk about column charts and line charts, I'll discuss them. But keep in mind, analytics features are available for what? Only few visuals, not for all the visuals. Pie chart, you don't have it. Right? Today, we understand two things. First thing we understand is what today? General formatting options for all the visuals. Second thing we started is what? Visuals for visualizing categorical data in that pie chart. So tomorrow, so might be pie chart is taking a lot of time to explain. But tomorrow when you go and discuss about other visuals, it hardly take few minutes of time. As we know pie chart thoroughly, other visuals will not take much time. Right, I'll stop here for today. We'll continue from here in tomorrow's class, guys. We'll go with some questions now.